Now let's look at how we can start to separate the pieces that we've created into the different panels and components of our car. So up to now it's worked okay for us to keep this as one piece because we want it to kind of fit along into one shape, right? So the canopy kind of blends into this piece up here, and we want it to kind of shape it just in a general way. But at this point, you can see it's kind of getting out of hand with adding the resolution. It's kind of going places we don't want it to go. So now we can start to kind of cut this thing apart so that we can then isolate our resolution on those particular pieces and just worry about those individual pieces. So we'll cut this into a few different pieces. And to do that, we can just grab the faces. So let's say we want to cut the canopy out first. So we'll go ahead and just select the faces that make up the canopy. And let's go ahead and select all of these, including this piece up here. So we'll select all of these faces right along here. Don't need those, don't need the part of the engine. Alright, so then all we'll do is go up to Mesh and extract that. So now we've got our own little piece here. Let's go ahead and make sure that we've got our settings here. Don't want an offset. There we go. So now that's been extracted. Now we also want to separate the actual canopy from this piece up here, so we can go ahead and again select these faces and we'll just extract those. So now we've got basically 3 different pieces here. So now when we add resolution to this, it's not going to affect this piece of the car at all. Okay, let's go ahead and extract the engine as well. Okay, let's go ahead and just extract, and I want to figure out how far down we want this engine to go. We want it to come down the back at some point. Let's go ahead and add an edge loop right in here. And let's cut that off in the center here. I'll just add an edge right there so that we can isolate this geometry at this point. Pull that out a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and just separate this from this point. So take the engine and grab all those faces. Okay, and we'll go ahead and extract that as well. Okay, if we look in the outliner, we can see that we've got all of those extractions kind of living here in this little hierarchy from our original cube. So what we can do is take all of these, we can delete the history, get rid of those transforms. We can hit Shift P to drop those out of their hierarchy, get rid of this node here, and now we have these kind of separate pieces. If we want to group them together, we can go ahead and group everything together and just call that car. But now we have all of our pieces separated, so we can now, if we add resolution here, it's not necessarily going to affect the engine. If we add resolution for the engine, it's not going to affect the car. And it helps us out because when we're building these things, we want to isolate that resolution. And in fact, cars are usually built with panels, so it kind of lends itself to that sort of a construction method. Okay, so we've got the engine, the canopy, and again, we're still working with just a half of this model. But now we've got basically kind of 4 different pieces here to work with. Okay, so let's go ahead and in the next lesson, you can see that we've still got a lot of work to do up here on this topology, and the reason we're having to spend so much time here is because the topology is something that we're drawing in ourselves, and it's kind of not going with the flow of how our topology has been working. So we're going to spend a little bit more time just drawing out these shapes and getting this pushed in so that we can create a nice inset there for the grill. So let's go ahead and continue to work on that, and we'll do that in the next lesson.